speak.
Right, that is rolling.
So is this?
Is that a podcast started?
That is officially the first podcast.
Oh my god.
We're recording dual sound.
Oh.
Fancy pants. So that is now recording.
We're going to go to a short interview and we're going to go...
Technical issues. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It can go in the bin. Like, genuinely, photography is the only thing that I...
What a bad mindset to have.
Terrible. Awful mindset. For example, the hot tour girl, if she thinks she can live off that...
Every time you say it. Right. Sam.
Callum, who's leading? Who's dancing? Who's the man, who's the woman who's leading this show?
Oh, God. This is where I get confused in relationships, so never mind a podcast. I think we should start with who you are, who I am.
Okay, so...
And if you lead the...
I'll go. So, I'm Sam, obviously. And we kind of like wanted to create a podcast talking about things that... Basically, these are our conversations just for everyone else to listen to.
Whether you find them interesting or not.
Yeah, hopefully you do. And it's not just... The creative corner is the kind of thing we discussed and we came up with, where it's conversations we have about things that we love about being creative, things that we find frustrating about being creative, but it's not creative in that's just, like artistry or, video or photo. It can literally be anything. If you create a brand, if you create, if you create a piece of woodwork, like if you've got something in you, that creative spark,
we want to know about it.
That's what we want to know about. We want to talk about it. Where does it come from? But for me, and I'll be honest, I've been trying to think about how to summarise this, and I am all over the place.
Well, I've just put it in my head and just gone, I'm just going to say what comes to my mind in those 10 seconds that I've got to say it. So I haven't really put anything down. I think this is going to come straight from the dome.
Okay.
Of what
so these that we make, like if I was looking at you,
yeah.
I'd say, like, I know you do photography, I know you've done like your vlogging, and that's all really, really cool. But where you are now is, I'd just say,
I know where this is going.
Videographer.
Yeah. What are you?
Honestly, mate, don't know. Think about.
Try and put it into like one sentence or two.
I can't. Honestly, genuinely, I'm literally like a jack of all. So I was thinking about it in the past.
Master of none, or
like semi-pro at some. We'll go with that. Definitely, my woodwork, that's questionable. But so I've probably got more. I'd say I've got more ideas than ability for some stuff. So I get overly carried away.
Isn't that everybody?
Well, yeah, but I actually I always push forward for it.
Okay.
So I've done. Obviously, I've got my own photography business, and that is one thing that I would like to think myself as being relatively good at.
Yeah.
I've done design work with regards my content creation for my actual fitness business, which is my actual job. Yeah. But I've also, like I say in the past, I've done, so growing up, my mum and dad and my sister were all very arty, so I was just drawing as a kid, constantly, like pencil drawings. Yeah. I've done like crafting, as in like woodwork. I've like made stuff. I've done joinery stuff.
I can see why you're confused.
And that's not everything, but like I've played around with like, I say played around music is generous. I haven't, but I'm terrible at it.
I started learning the guitar.
Honestly, I've seen you play the guitar compared to like, you're basically Taylor Swift compared to what I can do with the guitar.
That is such a compliment when I'm playing. I try and refer to Ed Sheeran a lot and play his music, but yeah, we're not there yet.
My problem is that, Joe, if I'm not good at something straight away, it can go in the bin. Like, genuinely, photography is the only thing that
What a bad mindset to have.
Terrible, awful mindset. So, because that's one thing I find amazing about you.
I bet you don't transfer that over to food though. If the omelette isn't coming out broken, is that going in the bin?
I've eaten some stuff that looked like a dog's made it. That omelette is more often than not scrambled eggs. But like, whenever you talk about something, you seemingly know everything about it before you even do it. Like, you'll talk about like your video settings and like the camera settings, and you deep dive into it. I
really pride myself when I'm like anything that I do. So whether it's woodwork, like learning tools, whether it's the camera, everything, I will literally go into depth of what lights I need, what they do to the camera, what they do to the settings, and I haven't even got any of this equipment. Like, I've not even, and then I've learned the whole depth of lighting, sound, audio, anything that I'm interested in.
Even so opposite.
Even building the van, right? I've got like so much research that I put into it that I know exactly what I need, looms, wires, everything to build a van out. And it's just my brain, every time I want to do something, I give it 100%, and then all that information just goes in. But it's also a bad thing because it's like scattered.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like, I've got so much going off. Like, who do I share it to? Who do I do it to? And this is the reason why we're doing this podcast as well, because I want to share all of this in my head to people. So that's quite interesting.
You see, I am the polar opposite to that. I am the epitome of fuck around and find out. I will.
Well, that's what you did with all of this stuff.
100%.
Right? Like,
I bought this, didn't know how to use it, didn't research it. It arrived, I plugged it in, and then just played with it till I understood how it worked.
That's
you
crazy.
know, and like my camera. So like I bought when I first got into photography, I didn't know if I was going to be any good at it, or whether I was going to enjoy it, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
So I just bought a cheap little Fuji.
Yeah.
I didn't know what an f-stop was, what shutter speed, what ISO. I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And rather than researching it, I just kind of played with it. I'd like take a photo, look at it, go, right, that wasn't what I wanted. I'd then like change one setting, and then
Oh, that's getting better.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, is
Most of the time it goes the other way.
which is crazy then, because I am literally like a trained design engineer. Like you would assume that I would be nerdy enough to want to dive into.
Yeah, you're the guy that reads the instructions.
I'm not. I'm the guy that just
You build
on.
the instructions.
Yeah, I just basically start and play and find out, and it's the way I've always been. It's like
I get it.
when I talk about the woodwork stuff. So I made I can't remember if I showed you this, but I actually made a table out of half a whiskey barrel.
No.
So I basically bought half a whiskey barrel that somebody had already cut up.
Why is this not the table?
Honestly, mate, it was sick. I'm actually
Could it make the podcast?
It was quite low. We'd be on our knees. It'd be like
Oh, it's a coffee table.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I just bought loads of like pallet driftwood.
Yeah.
And then just like made a big flat tabletop, sanded it all down, and then coated it in some like varnish, and then just bought some hinges. At no point did I plan it. I didn't measure anything.
So your creativity really spans from anything that comes into your mind.
Oh yeah.
And that you want, it's an experimental thing.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's not a way. Is it a way you express yourself, or is it just kind of?
I literally just like throw shit at the wall and see what happens. But it even when I was an engineer and like it wasn't necessarily a job that I particularly enjoyed.
Yeah.
But one of the jobs in engineering that I suppose probably did enjoy the most, I was a product design engineer. So I had to design stuff that didn't exist. So they'd go to a customer, sell some equipment that does something.
Yeah.
And then they'd come to me and go, oh, we've sold this piece of kit. It's kind of similar to this, but it needs to do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
And I need it in 12 weeks. And I've got no point of reference because it doesn't exist. So I've just got to pull a design out of nowhere. So it was pressurised, but it was fun from a creative point of view because every time I was building something new. Whereas I didn't have time to sit and research it and think about it. It was just, I need something that does this. Okay, cool.
Get it done.
I need something that does this. Can I put these two together and make it do what I want? And that is, as you've just basically said quite eloquently, it's almost quite, it's quite chaotic creative. It's just like...
Yeah, I think that spans for everyone. That's maybe other people can let us know, but creativity and when it's in your mind and out of your mind is chaos.
Yeah.
And it's how you calm that chaos through creativity.
Yeah.
So I've got all these wonderful, bright, big ideas and building a business, and I guess from my background as running Elite Gen Media, being a PT, taking the PT online, doing the content, all of these amazing ideas that are just going through my head is how I've put them out there to one, calm my head, and two, they're so creative, and learning the process of that is ultimately kind of the goal.
Yeah.
It's not kind of like, I don't know, monetary value. It is literally getting out your head what is creative because it almost calms you.
And I find that there's nothing personally more frustrating when you've got a vision in your head and you cannot make it. And that's the one thing. So like, I have played around with like videos and I have just such the basic insight into video. It's because I'm so used to composing, we've had this conversation, I'm so used to composing photos that composing videos is
a totally
different.
separate thing.
So I know in my head, like I'll see the stuff that you do and I'll see the stuff that other guys do online. I love that. And I'll try and do it, but I'm constantly composing it like a photo.
Yeah,
and then I get the footage,
different rule of thirds
and I'm like,
different stuff.
This doesn't look like what I want it to.
No.
We then circle straight back to, I'm not good at it straight away.
I'll give up.
Toys out the pram.
That's amazing. I think before we carry on, is that still recording?
You have no faith. We're 9 minutes in already. Don't worry about it.
We are absolutely smashing it.
Flying it.
We are absolutely smashing it. So that's the intro of me and you, I guess. I think
Long-winded.
yeah.
Not concise, but don't worry, we won't have to do this very often.
I think the first few, once you know who we are, if there's anything I missed or anything you want to know, then
It probably is.
there's going to be a lot. So if you're looking at this actually on YouTube, then leave a comment as to what you want to know about us. It's kind of briefly, very kind, please. But I think we'll jump into the first topic of, drum roll, everybody's favourite, social media. Oh, don't we love it?
We love it.
Or hate it. Marmite at the minute, I think.
I have a very, I'll be honest, I suppose I love-hate relationship with it. I think it offers so much and it's so good, but it can be so unbelievably cruel. And I don't mean cruel with regards like the comments, because people are just
that's people anyway.
It's so cruel where you can spend, and we've had this conversation before, you can spend hours, curating content, making a video, making a reel, doing a post, writing really good copy.
Yep.
Absolute nothing. Like 300 reach, one profile view, and maybe a thumbs up from your mum. Like literally nothing.
Shout out to the mums, big spots.
Yeah. Don't stop liking it, Jesus. Like a third of my engagement.
Algorithm boost.
But then you can just like use a CapCut template of a movie clip where someone's shouting something crazy. You put some funny.
Yeah, we touched on that. I started this story. So there was like a lady. She films amazing content inside of the gym, and it's how to do a certain exercise, etc. And she was in a taxi and she filmed like her sloshing her tongue around her mouth and the spit was in it. And she'd done all this amazing content of like how to train. And this piece of content got 17 million views. And she was like posted another comment saying, how is it that I'm giving you all this information and helping you develop and grow as people inside of a gym? That is actually really valuable. Yet me sloshing my tongue around and spit on the internet, I'm worried about how many people have seen my spit. It's got 17 million views. Honestly, and this goes back to like the algorithms and TikTok and Instagram really do not care what you post. They care of how many eyes are on it, how many people are watching it, and how long they're going to retain that person for on their social media platforms. Because we fight for attention and the attention economy. Yeah. So it really doesn't matter. And it comes back to like 17 million people will watch someone slosh spit around the mouth. But when it comes to like useful information, a lot of people decide not to watch it. Those are the pieces you want to put and develop more time into. And they just don't bang. They just don't hit. And it is so frustrating.
It is frustrating, but like I am just as guilty as anyone else. Like, even to the point
you've been testing the water with those type of stuff though, haven't you?
Yeah, so like I mean, again, it's nothing new, it's nothing radical, but like you see the reels or the TikToks more to the point where, half the screen is the video that you're trying to actually impart some sort of wisdom or even just be funny or whatever it happens to be. Yeah. And then there's a video attached to the side of it that's got just a scrolling loop of footage. I've nicked videos from people like doing lots of throwing stuff or like people love watching presses. So presses coming down.
What do you mean presses?
Do you like the hydraulic press?
Ah, okay, really? No, I've never seen it.
I think it might be a YouTube channel that's got like millions of followers from people someone just started doing hydraulic presses on like toys.
Oh, I have seen that. Yeah, they press like little bean bags and stuff.
And that's why I got a scrolling videos of that. And they do so well on TikTok because you get people watching. They're not listening to you, they're watching.
No, of course.
But obviously that puts you, it recognises.
There was a stat, wasn't there, recently about how many people actually watch the reels without audio. That's why captions and those type of stuff do well, because people are not actually listening to anything you're saying.
Yeah.
So talking head stuff out the window.
Well, the thing is, you think about it, though, how many people work in offices that haven't got headphones on, that are on the phone,
just scrolling, trying to be secretive.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Like
so you're
down.
watching reels. You can't afford to have music on, so you've got to have captions. And again, I never used to have captions on. Well, in fact, I never used to be on camera. Yeah. And then I realised, that's a completely different rabbit hole, but that is like what you have to do now. But it's like, even when going back to what you were saying about like good quality content engagement, I'm just as guilty. I will see a piece of content that actually interests me because it's someone that I follow. Yeah. And I'll be watching it and I'm a bit like, oh, you've had 5 seconds, you ain't got there yet, next.
Yeah, of course.
And I can feel myself doing it, and that's exactly what I get frustrated at other people doing for mine. Yeah. Because we get so precious about our own context. We're like, oh, it's great. It just might not be. It just might not be that engaging. You've got to hook people in so quickly, and it's basically a game that you're never really going to win. Even people that have got millions of followers and successful, they're still going to post a bomb.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like there's people who build 5 or 6 TikTok accounts based on that content that we've just discussed, and they don't even put their face on it, but because it's retaining so many people over so many platforms, they are getting paid thousands per month just by posting these silly little things.
Yeah.
And it's content that no one needs.
Oh,
like
it's not benefiting. Like,
it's
just passing the time, basically.
Which for me, is social media about that? Is it?
I think it depends, doesn't it? Because some people go on and it is just a way of passing time, whereas we use it as a business tool. We are looking to. I mean, from my point of view, I'm looking to educate, engage, and affect and sell. Yeah. And you're looking to inspire. Yeah. Educate and also sell.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we what we use social media for is very different to us. So that's why I think it's very easy to get lost in the whole, why aren't people engaging with my content? Why aren't they buying? Why aren't they this? Why aren't they that? Well, that might not be what they're using Instagram for.
No.
So then you've got to appeal to the people that are going to, and then you have to go down the whole route of, working out your niche, who are you speaking to.
Oh, it's so difficult.
Yeah.
I'm so experimental with my content at the minute, of what I'm posting on Instagram and what I'm posting on TikTok. And the algorithm changes so fast, and obviously TikTok really pushing their guidelines, and it's taking up to 2 weeks for people to get any kind of views on TikTok because the guidelines are so strong now, and all the filters and the technology that they use in these algorithms and platforms. And we can't blame the algorithm all the time. Like, if you make bad content, you make bad content. If you make good content and you build up an audience, again, over a period of time and consistency, you're going to get eyes.
I feel attacked. I feel it is the algorithm.
Secretly, I do as well. It's a personal attack.
Because my content bangs.
Sad. No views.
Yeah, I feel it definitely feel victim.
Someone's got it in for you at that
100%. Yeah.
Someone's at TikTok head office now watching this going, Sam's on this.
You ain't got a chance.
You ain't got no chance.
Cal, get someone else, mate. You ain't got a chance.
What was it? Movement Matters. Now it's Elite Gen Media.
This is it,
No, get rid of those guys.
Yeah. Side note.
Go.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I want it to be true. And I've forgotten his bloody name now. The guy that's done the drink with James Smith, Chris.
I wanted to say Hemsworth, but
it's not Hemsworth. I'd buy anything Chris Hemsworth prescribed. Honestly.
It's not Chris Hemsworth. I know who you mean.
I forgot his bloody name now. Really, I mean, we should know. This is shameful. Massive podcaster as well. We should know this.
Chris.
That's no bug me. But he was on.
It's here.
Yeah. We'll add it on. I don't want to mind the name and then just like sub the name over. He was on Joe Rogan. And he was saying that in the TikTok guidelines, the T's and C's that we all just
accept.
Yeah. Apparently, you're giving them permission when you're on TikTok for your camera to read your micro expressions when you're watching a video.
I'm never going on TikTok.
Yeah. So not only does it go off how long you actually watch and whether you like or scroll.
That is scary.
It's gauging from your own camera whether you smirk, grimace, whatever, and then
from like the LiDAR thing, or is it like the actual camera's watching you?
Is it the actual camera? Because it's got to see your face, hasn't it? So that's the only way it can do it. So it's gauging your micro expressions, and it's then saying, "Oh right, there."
Well, I'm going to read into this more for the next podcast.
Definitely do.
This is absolutely
this could
crazy.
Be nonsense, but he said it on Joe Rogan, so obviously
it's not nonsense.
And he's a very clever guy, so I don't believe he would be saying that.
What's his name again?
Chris. It's not Chris now. I've doubled down on Chris.
It's definitely James.
Yeah, 100%. And then, but yeah, so it's not only just gauging whether you watch it, whether you like it, whether you scroll after 5-6 seconds. It's gauging if you're smiling watching it, but then scroll off it. It'll go, well, you still liked it, so we'll show you more of that.
Feed that back.
How scary is that?
How fast these things change is also scary. Because we are daily given so much information to social media platforms that AI technology can now basically replace algorithms that they have built over time manually. And now these platforms are gaining this information and utilising us as users. What I want to know is how we gain that information to utilise as business people. And I think that's what I'm finding out now is my content that I post on TikTok. versus Instagram is totally different because Instagram is all business.
Yeah.
TikTok's behind the scenes, funny skits. People are just scrolling, and actually you get a lot of views through TikTok fairly easy. Whereas Instagram is more of an audience, and they press, at the minute of what I understand is they press all your content to your followers first. If your followers don't engage, they don't give it externally. So it's currently scanning, and obviously there's no hashtags anymore. Those things don't work. The algorithms are so clever now.
Yeah.
We don't need hashtags. We don't need all of this stuff. The keywords and good hooks and visuals.
Keywords is massive on TikTok
It's huge.
as well. I'll stop you there. I was literally holding that for that entire sentence. I was like, because
Stop.
I've got such bad hay fever at the minute, and I was like, for the love of God, Cal, this is a really good
My
point.
nose, and I think that is giving me like...
I was like, that's so, honestly, side note, I'm so glad that's above your head and not mine, because the shine, if that was at me, you imagine.
It's like making my eyes water a little bit, I'm not gonna
I was
lie.
holding that cough for so long. I was like, oh, he's making a really good point. I don't want to interrupt. But honestly, this is like, it's bubbling up, so I'm going to go again. We're back.
You go, mate. You.
But like, 'cause have you seen, I mean, you must have seen, because they've really pushed it at the minute on TikTok, the Creator Insight. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, so you can actually search it on TikTok and use
you
those tools.
You can find the keywords, and I'll be honest, just doing that, so just finding the Creator Insight. So,
I'm actually number one for colour grading on TikTok. So if you search colour grade,
no, very nice.
my videos are number one.
Nice. So like, I've just been finding, because it even tells you within your niche,
Yep.
which it's obviously recognised from the content you post, the gaps.
Yeah.
So you can even, so then I'll just put, even if I use like an old reel that's
Yeah.
just on my phone, as long as in the copy I put, you know, a back exercise,
Yeah.
I could just literally do a single loop video of me like doing it.
And it's a gap that people are looking for that's not fulfilled.
Just doing but then the thing is, so what happened is, for example, say it's the video when we trade.
I want to get this up now as we go. Go on.
Okay, so say like we, when we traded Ultraflex a few
Yep.
months ago, we did a back session or a pull session, whatever.
Yeah.
So I've got videos of just 3, maybe like 10 seconds of doing a seated like row or something.
Yeah.
So I can just go to say, oh, there's a shortfall in someone looking for back workouts, pull day.
Yeah.
As long as I put the exact words in the start of my copy, that when people are searching back,
Also shows you trending stuff as well.
this is it.
So Creator Insights on TikTok is one that we...
And then it will literally then give you, so when someone searches for back day exercises,
Yeah.
it just puts your video in that pool.
Oh, amazing.
Now, as long as your videos are, as long as they're sort of at that point,
Yeah.
they're then going to look at the actual still of that video.
Yeah.
That's the bit that's got to be engaging. So it's now no longer about hashtags that put you in a pool. People are searching by what's in the copy.
They want, like, we're so intentional with what we do.
Yes.
So I think if I want to know something, I am searching for it.
Yes.
And it becomes a split between TikTok because yes, we can just mindfully just scroll and accept what we see and I enjoy that, I don't enjoy that.
Use it as a
People
search
use
tool.
it, yeah. But people actually go on there and go, I want a recipe to build protein pancakes.
Yeah.
And we'll actually search for that. So if you've got good keywords and a good video, you're going to be number one at that. Actually, it comes back to me. I did a lot of research on TikTok about colour grading and stuff like that, which obviously paid off for me using the creator tools.
Yeah.
And what really worked for me is I searched and used AI to give me 30 keywords in my niche. And I paste those into my video, squish it and move it out of the frame. So when the tools and AI are reading, or the algorithm is reading my content, it will read the 30 keywords inside of my video and post it to those things.
Have you used AI to interview yourself about your business?
No.
That's
wow,
cool.
that sounds...
That's really
Maybe we
good.
should do that live.
That's really cool. Yeah, imagine if it said...
Should we just... I think we should do that. We were going to put like AI just here.
Imagine if it just says like...
get it to ask us questions.
I won't bother.
Actually, we're talking of AI. I've got a little something we could
Go on
do.
then. Yeah, we'll jump into that.
Should we go for that?
Yeah, go on then.
Yeah. What time are we on the podcast?
So we are currently on 23.
23 minutes. So I'm just going to set my laptop here so I can... It's not too
But before you jump
noisy.
into that, what you can do is using AI, you can describe your business, or you actually can start from scratch. So you can literally say to AI, I'm a single like sole trader, whatever business. Interview me about.
I thought you was going to stop at single soul.
I'm a single soul. I'm a single soul, and then you can say like interview me about my business, and then it'll interview, ask you what you do, who you serve, and then you will answer the questions, and then it'll basically you
Give you a
can
score or something.
So basically you can help it. It will find your niche for you. So it basically asks you what the business is,
Yeah.
what you do, what you specialise in, and obviously these are top end questions, and you can even say dig deeper, and you can keep going and going and going, and then eventually after all that you can spend as long as you want on it, and eventually you can say, right, given the information that I've provided, who is my ideal client, who do I market best to, because it'll interview you as well. So for example, I'm newly 40. I know, don't look at it. But there's no point realistically in me marketing to 18-year-old guys that want to get jacked and lean for stage.
Absolutely not.
That's not my demo.
Yeah.
So there's no point in me doing that sort of content. But it will turn around and go, based on you as a person, your background, your history, your ideal client is X. So then once it knows your client, you can then get it to help you make content around that.
Do you think these AI tools are helping or hindering the industry? Because I'm very split on this, and this will be a good one to talk about in the comments as well.
I think it helps if you're not a creative person.
Yeah.
Because I know that, so when I've been in business groups in the past, there are some people that are fantastic coaches, but they struggle with content creation because it's not their bag.
Yeah.
So even though they know everything, they can't get it across.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll be honest, because I knew I was quite a creative person, I never struggled making content, writing copy.
And this is what my business was built off the back of, actually.
Yeah, of course.
Elite Gen Media is my business. This was built off the back of me being a PT and being frustrated in delivering valuable content. And we had the conversation, didn't we? Where I was more interested in filming than I was actually coaching.
Yeah.
So that's what the business was built off. So I can see the frustration behind the industry.
100%.
And it's not just for personal trainers. I think I've worked with iced tea companies.
Yeah.
I've worked with different personal brands and from all kinds of like spectrums, from coffee shops and etc. And it all stems down to their frustration of not being able to deliver good content.
And that's the thing. So like, because I've always been a creative person, I've always been a bit lackadaisical with it and taken it for granted that, like, for example, earlier, I was like, I haven't posted any content today. I'll just do something. And I just found an image, wrote some copy, and it was done. Whereas I know some people struggle to get images, to write the copy, to know what to write, how to speak to their audience. So I think in that instance, if you're using something like AI to help you get your message across,
then it's good.
I think it's good. I don't think it should be completely leaned upon. I think it should.
I think it's taken away a lot of personal aspect for me. I think, and I think we're giving it too much information too fast, and I think that it's going to be leveraged in ways that we can't really control, and it's going to really make a big impact on social media platforms and already on podcasts like this, that we can clip these videos up within seconds with AI and they can scan everything. They know everything about us. They can learn and listen all the way. Whether that's going to be used for the good and it's going to get rid of, for example, using ManyChat on Instagram is like people replying automatically to comments, replying to likes, getting story highlights, getting DMs. It can all be done by AI and you're not on your phone at all, but someone is tricked into thinking they're speaking to you. And it's like, is that bad for the consumer? But it is good for the business. And even Snapchat, where you can talk to the AI bot, like, how's your day?
But then there's a much deeper dive you can go on this as well when you start looking to gratification. For example, somebody might comment on a post of like a big influencer because they want the reaction, because they get gratification from knowing.
Makes them feel good.
If they get an automatic response from a fitness influencer that's got 300,000 followers that's never seen their comment saying, appreciate it, bro, thanks, high five, they feel good.
Of course.
They get that dopamine hit because they're like, oh, cool, they've seen me.
Yeah, Robert the robot's giving you a high five for it.
And this guy doesn't know you exist. So, in some respects, it's not necessarily a bad thing. No. But like I say, I think it's more when you completely disengage from any kind of effort or work.
Absolutely. And
just let it do it. I'm all for automation and making things easier, but I still think you need to have some degree of input. But anyway, before we get into that, let's do your
tools. AI is going to be on this podcast. We're going to go into a lot of different things, and
as we have already.
You've had a snippet of pretty much quite a lot already, but AI is going to be kind of one big thing we'll get people in for as well. But what I wanted to do and what I did is real quickly went on ChatGPT. I keep saying BT. And I put in a prompt about the podcast and about Creative Corner and how we are speaking about whether it's creativity is an escape, whether it's a business, whether it's a tool, and the frustrations and also the goods and the bads about where it's going. And I asked it to give me 10 bullet points to discuss that are trending. So it's gave me 10.
Okay.
And I want to highlight these 10.
Are we doing quickfire here?
I think we're going to go quickfire.
Okay.
I think we're going to probably less than 90 seconds to 2 minutes around.
Okay.
I think that will give us then
cool.
10 minutes to...
So you've not fully looked at these, have you?
I've not fully... I've copied and pasted these into my notes and I'm reading the first one right now.
Okay, cool.
So, number one, AI wants us to talk about is the role of authenticity in creativity and discuss genuine, authentic content, how it stands out and in a saturated market and how audience gravitate towards authentic content. That's what it's gave us.
See, that's mad that AI is prompting that when AI is completely inauthentic.
This was exactly my first thought.
Which is crazy.
We've asked AI to give us a tip, and their number one thing to talk about is authentic content.
Which is the one thing it
Which is
can't
the one
do.
thing AI cannot do.
Even...
So it's telling us, forget all of this. Why are you even on here typing?
Yeah.
Go and make some creative
That's
content.
you.
That's you.
Although
get in the kitchen and go have a laugh. You know.
What is scary is, have you seen how you can get AI...
By the way, 90 seconds, go.
Yeah, to analyse your own content and then get it to rewrite it in your style.
Yeah, I've done it quite a lot.
Because I remember seeing, this is a couple of years ago now, Jordan Peterson was talking about a really in-depth subject that he says, I would need to research this for 5 years for me to even understand it.
Yeah.
And he gave it was probably an earlier version of ChatGPT, this is before ChatGPT was a thing. And he was like, write about X subject in the style of Jordan Peterson. Now, obviously, the AI
did it in
can
seconds.
go across the internet. It knows Jordan Peterson's work. There's enough of it out there, and within seconds, it had written. And he said, I was reading it, and it was like I'd written it. So,
It's crazy.
In a way, it can be authentic if it's got enough source material.
Yeah, and I think Jordan Peterson's put enough information out there to have enough source material.
Yeah.
And I think authentic content is quite broad actually. What's authentic to the person is very, very niche, and it's saying how it stands out in a saturated market is that no one person can be replicated. And this is what social media is all about, is I can't replicate somebody else's content. I can replicate the style, what works, what doesn't work, but they're not going to have my voice, my actions, everything that I do, even movement of hands. And I think that's what stands out creative-wise on socials.
But there's also, again, there's the complete other way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Is it authentic because you're authentically talking to the person you want to sell to, not necessarily who you are? Like, I could be...
There's a guy, Tom... Sorry, Tom, I forgot your surname. Again, we're not very good with surnames here, are we? We'll put him on here.
Yeah. Be a lot of admin on this one.
I know. And he does authentic content. He just basically has this conversation. He's got a separate phone setup or camera setup, and he posts these stories of him in his creators club talking about different styles of content, which is authentic because he's actually not really talking to you. He's talking to his audience and clipping that into a thing, and that's creativity. And to him, I think is.
That was such a long 90 seconds.
That was a long night. And I wanted to tell another story about, really quickly. I was in my sister's car going back from the airport really quickly. And she was doing an assignment and she was like really struggling. I said, do you know what? I can do this in probably like 30 minutes for you. And it was in building control. I don't know a clue about anything building control. And I basically went onto ChatGPT and said, write me an essay of 2,000 words about this. I got it done in like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And she saw it for the first time and was like, why am I even paying for education?
Yeah.
Crazy. Right, number 2. Leveraging social media algorithms for creative exposure. This is spicy.
See, this is hard.
Explore how understanding and utilising social media algorithms can enhance the visibility of creative work. We spoke about this already, actually, and we've just covered it on here. But from the videos of like a toy car going around a track, the algorithm likes their eyes and will push that, and will pay somebody 60 grand a month to post toy cars. Yet somebody who's being authentic isn't getting the views they want or deserve because the algorithm
it
You're not playing to the algorithm.
It's what you were saying. It's almost like it's the fitness influencer who knows their stuff, is a brilliant coach, but they have to like do the odd video shirtless.
Yeah.
Just for engagement.
Just to get the views.
Just cheap.
Yeah.
Just cheap engagement, because unfortunately, that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
So you're selling your soul a little bit, because you've got to go for cheap engagement.
This business is built on the algorithms, and people learn a lot of these tools anyway. And I think for a business owner to know the algorithm and to utilize it is probably a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because it changes every time. We just spoke about a couple it's how fast it's changed.
They've even changed the Instagram algorithm as of the day to day. Like it's now being shown the opposite way around, isn't it? I think I could be wrong. Now it's being shown to non-followers, and if they react, then it shows it to your followers.
So at the start of this video, I said followers. At the end of this video, it's now not. That's how quick the algorithm's changed.
It's in real time.
So I would literally just understood that so quick, and as Sam has just absolutely posted something completely different there. Okay, I think we're good on that one. Number 3, I think we'll skip over because we've done quite a lot of this. AI-powered creative tools. That is a podcast on its own.
Yes.
So we'll go over that another time. 4, collaborative creativity in the digital age. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
So it's talk about the social media and digital platforms, facilitate collaborations among creators and diverse backgrounds. I think this is a really good one for Instagram. They've really done well with this. So anybody could collaborate on posts now. You can invite to collaborate. You can do it from around the world. If you've got a client in South Africa, you can collaborate with them, etc. I think it's building people's platforms much faster because it's getting more eyes to more platforms that have common interests.
It's definitely removing sort of barriers, and like you're not so landlocked.
No, true.
Now you can literally
go anywhere.
You can literally do a collaboration with someone in Australia.
Yeah,
if you really wanted to, which is crazy, you know, and then suddenly you're exposed to a different. So that side of things is fantastic.
Yeah, honestly, I've utilised this so much with mine because every client that I have or give them client work for their socials, at least in the package that I create, one is a collaborative post, and one is something we do together. And it doesn't just help me and expose me and give me content because I'm lazy, but also it understands that we get a reach together. And that means that more eyes that I have on mine and more eyes that they have on theirs, it helps the algorithm.
Side note, I will say, just, you know, every time I post your stuff that you've taken of me, and I forget to tag you, I feel real bad about it.
You should.
I always do.
I've not picked up on it, I promise.
I always go back, and I always think...
I would just share it anyway.
Yeah, I know you share it, but I always think, I should have tagged him in that. And I know you can tag retrospective, but you can't do collaborative retrospective, can you?
You can now.
Can you?
You can now go onto your post you've already posted and edit and add mention. You can add a collab after you've posted now. Another update.
That must be very recent.
I think, when was the update? Like, what date we're on now? I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago.
Oh, okay.
I literally did it yesterday.
Because I know only recently, for that reason, I think I re-tagged you in something, but I couldn't.
You can't do anything with it then. Yeah.
No, but you can collab. Oh, that's cool. That's good to know.
So you can actually do that now. What number was that?
4. You skipped 3, didn't you?
Yeah. 5, creating a personal brand through creativity. Wow, this one is something I really struggle with. Discuss the importance of personal brand and creativity and essentials in crafting a distinct and memorable brand identity. Now, I'm going to start this one because this is something I really struggle with. So I have a lot going off. So I love to travel. I'm into the gym. I'm very much into photography and videography. I'm currently building a business on it. And I really struggle to showcase this across my platforms. I'm like the guy, I've got the business and I'm like, when I go to the gym, I can't post my gym picture or a gym story on my brand. On TikTok, yes, I can. On Instagram, I can't. And I feel like I can't, when actually...
I think you can.
What is around now suggests that you can. Like, people are building, not a business is a personal brand now, or vice versa. Like, a personal brand isn't a business. So where I got, like, I want to travel. I had a travel Instagram account that I then changed to Elite Gen Media, which was, so people on my Instagram have seen gym photos and pictures of me being a PT, me being the travel guru for 3 years, and then me being this photographer, videographer. And my Instagram, I haven't created a new account. All I've done is deleted and re-put different new posts on. Lazy again. But I really struggle with what I can and can't post on my brand. How do you find the content there?
So it's odd because, so as we were discussing earlier, so I started out on social media just with my STR photography page.
Yes.
I was not visible. I was very much behind the camera, and all I would post was just the pictures that I'd
And that's
take.
what Instagram was.
And that's what Instagram was. And like we said, I was getting 300,
Yeah.
400, 500 likes on a post,
Yeah.
and thought nothing of it. And I said to you,
It was a portfolio.
I would
it was-
kill for that now, but.
Please, like.
Oh, honestly, and subscribe, everything. But so whereas now, so then I was like, right, I'm getting to the gym a little bit. I want to share, because I was like overweight, and I was sharing it. Don't say of course. Don't say of course the overweight bit.
Wrong time.
Wow. So then,
I could tell I hurt you all. Sorry.
honestly, cut me deep. So yes, obviously I was getting fitter, and I thought, well, I can't be sharing like recipes and gym updates
of course.
on a photography page.
Yeah.
So I actually created my own account, and I started posting like workout stuff, and I was an engineer at the time, so it was just a hobby.
Yeah.
And then I sort of like moved into actually being a coach, and then it was more actual educational content, and it was more actually advertising for clients. And then for me, I then started working exclusively with fat loss clients, because that was what I knew.
Yeah.
But then after I'd been sort of had good habits, routines, lost weight, maintained all that sort of stuff, I was kind of looking for that next level up. I wanted to work with people where just fat loss, just being skinny wasn't the ultimate goal. It was, a stronger mindset, more robust, more elite, more, no pun intended. But like as in more character work stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So my content started to change. But the problem is, just like you said, you were changing your audience, or your audience was seeing that it was getting a different message.
Yeah.
I'd spent years cultivating an audience for fat loss.
Do you think that's like, I don't know, as a consumer or someone that's watching you, is that confusing?
I don't know if it's not confusing. I don't know if it's confusing. I mean, it might be confusing the way you're doing it, but I think it's potentially more if it just doesn't resonate.
Because I follow some people, and I'm like, I really like this stuff and what they do.
Yeah.
And they make money out of it,
Yeah.
etc. But I actually don't know what they do.
Yeah.
Because they post so much and so like different things and aspects of their life, and they're actually not hard selling at all. Yes, they are selling because they make a lot of money out of it and a living out of it. But there's a lot of people that are on the socials that I go, I actually don't know what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's clever marketing and advertising where they're actually soft selling you and you don't actually know what they're doing, but you're watching all the content.
Yeah. But then is you watching their content getting them paid?
Exactly.
Is that it?
Is that simple?
Is
as
that
it
all they
is?
need from you? Whereas like, so when I was then starting to reframe who I was speaking to, my engagement dropped like insanely.
Really?
I stopped getting followers because I stopped doing the easier fat loss stuff, as in jibes at Slimming World, jibes at Weight Watchers, which we won't go into.
No.
But that's very low hanging fruit, because 90% of people have had an experience with Weight Watchers or Slimming World.
Of course.
If you're dealing with like sort of women potentially that are maybe trying to lose weight after pregnancy, for example, they might go to Slimming World, they might have a bad experience, they talk to you about it.
Shout out to the mums.
Yeah, 100%. And it's that thing of, but then I'm then talking to them about elite mindset and digging in and working hard and pushing forward. And they're
Time
like,
to go.
And they're like, I just want to lose a little bit of weight, mate. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's not even.
And it wasn't resonating with them, so my engagement went through the floor. And then I had to then reframe, so I had to almost like rebuild an audience.
Yeah.
So then until now, I've kind of got a foot in both camps. I will still focus on a strong mindset, but I will also look at fat loss as well. So it's about making sure that at least the content you're producing is not just speaking to everyone, but it's the people that you've already got.
You've got and what? Yeah. It's about keeping the following as well, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Well, did we answer that one pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Number 6. Okay, this one's got to be 90 seconds. Let's go. You ready? Visually storytelling on social media. Dive into how visually storytelling can engage audiences more effectively and create strategies to achieve compelling visuals. Visually storytelling. Storytelling for me is the number one factor to keep people watching your content. And how I edit my content as I start with a hook, whether that's visual, so normally like it's a really good like in and out transition at the start. Then it goes into the storytelling part and then the ending, which is kind of like the build up, and then it's the the drop off for someone else to go actually click on his name, watch a bit more of his content. That's the goal for me at the end of these videos. So telling a story, and it's easy for me to tell a story actually with what I do is because I'm filming people in the fitness industry that already have a story. I'm not creating one. They have it. I'm just showcasing their So it's very easy. So for example, I had a client recently, Kaza.
Just to jump in there though, that is, I think, potentially underselling what you do though, because anyone can record someone. How you compose a shot and how you edit it tells a story.
It's a learned skill. It's very difficult actually.
If you've got someone who's like an absolute monster chucking weights around, you want it to look intense, hard, not aggressive, but like you know.
If you're really soft, slow mo,
soft and panning around,
piano around,
that ain't doing it. So they might have their own story, but you've got to capture it properly.
Which is my job,
100%.
Yeah. Thank you for that, actually.
Pleasure, mate.
Really appreciate that.
How do you feel about that calling me fat now?
Just a little bit. So yeah, I think telling a story for me is number one.
Yeah.
What would you say is number one too?
It's obviously similar dynamic. I mean, I always, because of my, we use that word a lot, creative mindset, I always want my content to look good.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I first started, I got so lost in it looking good that I wasn't saying anything. And that's one thing when I hired a business coach, he looked through my, and I'd got so lost.
So in the colours.
And I canvaed it to death.
There's so much going on. It's visually pleasing. Well, actually, it's visually confusing.
I had no clients. I had no clients, but everyone said, "Oh, your social media is so good. It always looks really good." Blah, 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 blah. Cool. And then he looked at it and went,
"I'm a plant."
He literally went, "Yeah, it looks great." He's like, "I don't know what you do."
Yeah, this is what this is it. I've got so many people like look very visually good. I don't know what they do.
And it was literally like he was like, "You don't educate, you don't even entertain."
Yeah.
He says, I never see you on camera. He was like, I don't see any clients, and I had maybe a couple at the time.
Yeah.
But he says, there's nothing that shows me, A, that you're a good coach, B, that you know what you're doing, or C, that you even do it yourself. All I was doing was just like maybe a picture of me in the gym, but then I'm so covered by graphics and slogans. It's just, do the work. What does that mean?
Nobody cares. Work hard.
Exactly. Like whoever saw that post and gone, you know what? Actually, I am currently on the sofa in my pants eating Doritos.
We're going to talk about trends actually and how relevant they are because these are absolutely ridiculous.
But no one ever saw a post saying like, "Shut up and work harder," and then you thought, "Oh, actually, I'm going to go for a run." Like, no, it's the visual story of right. So that's the person that I resonate with, that I kind of would like to be a little bit like, or at least mimic. What's their story?
Yeah.
How did they start? Oh, actually, shit, they started a bit like me. Oh, right, they have the same problem as me. Oh, yeah, they've got kids.
Yeah.
They've got a 9 to 5. They don't particularly like going to the gym, or they don't like running, or they struggle with controlling food, or whatever it happens to be. You've got to tell the story to get them to buy into you as a person. And then suddenly it's
how long does it take to tell the story is another one. Like this could take a year to tell it on Instagram, or it could take 2 posts.
You can't do it. You're very lucky if it takes 2 posts. If you do a post, this is me, cool, buy in.
Yeah.
But sadly not. But then for some people that is, we're going to off a complete tangent. But the guy that I'd coaching with last year, a guy called Ben Rose Miles, shout out Ben,
Big up.
like massive, absolute unit of a human. And I used to see him in the OC and be like, why are you not absolutely killing it? Like, you look incredible. You're a stage competitor.
Why are you not utilising it?
You clearly know it all.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he wasn't where he wanted to be. But then he got on camera, started educating to show that he knew what he was talking about, and now he's absolutely killing it.
That's crazy.
So for him, it was just a case of
all he needed to do was tell his story.
Yes, 100%.
I work with a lot of people like that as well. That coffee shop I did recently actually is we filmed a photo of the coffee, great. A photo of the cake, great. Looks amazing. I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But the moment we started telling their story of how they opened the coffee shop, how they sourced the beans, how interested they actually are in the business, the moment their sales went up.
Yeah.
As soon as they told the story. Okay, number 7, the rise of short form content. Examine the popularity of platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels and how short form content is creating expression.
Short form content stresses me out simply because, like, I used to think I got it down to a knack. I could record a video that would be about 1 minute 30 with with crops and getting rid of the
Yeah.
I could not get down to a minute. I thought a minute is a
Yeah,
sweet
bang
spot,
on.
and that's like no, it needs to be 10 seconds, mate. No one's watching it for a minute. If you watch it,
It's funny because like TikTok are actually pushing longer form content, and there's that button now where you can tap and you can go horizontal instead of vertical.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Which is crazy for me because it seems to be going in these loops. Because when I first started, I post photos and carousels, which was what people wanted because there was like the longer they slide, the longer they're on the platform.
Yeah.
So if you've got one photo on, they're nice and short. 10, they're going to stay there for a little bit. At the end, they might read the description if you're lucky. But now all of my content is short form.
Yeah.
Like I put my travel content on YouTube might be a long form video, but in terms of my branding on TikTok and Instagram, all I post is reels and short form.
Like some of the best content I got engagement with was I did a series a few months ago now of I think it was like basically like things I used to believe in fitness that are completely wrong, as in the whole.
I've seen this. This is pretty cool.
And it was like 10 seconds long, and it was like carbs making you fat. But it would just jump on the screen, and it would be 10 seconds. I mean, rattling it out, and it's done, and it's gone.
I think that's what Instagram users want.
Yeah.
TikTok,
you get a bit more.
You can watch a recipe for
I'll find
3
people
minutes.
watching more, but now Instagram is just scroll. Before we carry on,
Go.
Let me just. So that is now recording.
We're going to go to a short interview, and we're going to go.
Technical issues. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I think we've answered the rise of short form content really well. I'm going to dive in. This one I want to actually do as a separate podcast as well, if it's okay with you. But it's ethical considerations in AI generated content. I think we should broaden this and not just talk about this between me and you. I think we should have somebody.
Yeah, there's other people, but I mean, even now, because you can declare, can't you, on Instagram if you've actually created a content with AI when you post?
Yeah. So you've got that sliding button now, and it says generated with AI.
Which is crazy. But yeah, I think that's a deep dive with people that have done it. And obviously, I don't know whether we've mentioned this in too much detail, but we are going to be having lots of different guests on the show.
Multiple.
And they're going to be from everyone. So we've got people that have created brands.
Some really exciting people, actually.
There's some of the names that we've already lined up that we've already spoken about, I'm genuinely very excited about.
It's going to be good.
There's going to be people that have created multiple brands, people that have created, not just
businesses, personal brands, both.
Videographers, photographers.
Yeah, and obviously we don't want to just talk about, I've got a nice lens 16 to 35. We're not going to geek out about equipment and stuff. And if you want an episode on that, we can do that. But we want to talk creatively how people have built a lifestyle and business around this, right?
Yeah. So like what we've done here is a lot of our like thoughts. These are some of the conversations that we have when we meet up.
Yeah.
But what we actually want to do is bring other voices into the conversation,
100%.
Deep dive into where they came from. How they scratch their creative itch, basically, because as I've said, I still don't know how I scratch mine. I'm
still scratching.
I've got fleas, mate. Down to
the last layer of skin.
Literally, honestly, like I'll try anything at this point. But so yeah, it's finding where other people's kind of sweet spot is. But sorry, anyway.
100%, yeah. So number 9 we'll dive into, and then 10. Let's finish it off with this: staying ahead of competition and continuously learning and adapting, enhancing the importance of continuing to learn and stay updated with trends, technologies to keep one's creative edge sharp. And I'm going to start with this because it mentions technologies. Do you think keeping up with technology or what you have to process your creativity is important? Because for me, it's not necessarily about the camera you've got, the mic you've got. Like a lot of this stuff that you can do, i.e. a podcast as well, you can just film it on your phone and post it. So this obviously dives into everything. And again, I think AI's done really well here, by the way, because all 10 of these conversations could be 10 episodes of a podcast.
Yeah. I think...
So give me something like 10.
It's really hard because there's so much pressure, because I think if you don't keep up with it, you do feel like you're being left behind.
100%.
And you can be as creative as you want, you can be as skilled as you want, but we've even seen that AI is taking...
jobs.
It's taking jobs, but it is taking the element of creativity away, because you can just type whatever you want. You can just word vomit into AI and say, create me something that does this. So I think there is a lot of pressure to keep up with it, but then you also don't want to get so lost in being on top of the...
I think the fight to be ahead
Yeah.
is what's creating the adaptations of AI, because I'm fighting to be against somebody else, so I'm having to do the new thing. But once everybody's done the new thing, there needs to be another new thing implemented,
Yeah,
right? This is
yeah.
where trends come along. It's like,
course.
once that trend's hit the peak
Yeah.
and it's gone, where's the next one?
Well,
and we're
it's-
constantly looking for that. And again, with technology and learning, and whether Instagram do these updates, they do them for a reason. It's to get people talking and using the platform. So they'll do an update and say, we have a new feature. Guess what everybody's going to go and do? Use the new feature.
But it comes down to how people consume things as well, in that our attention spans are so bad now that
so bad.
you're as good as your last trick. So like ChatGPT could come out with this revolutionary new thing, and within a day everyone's bored of it.
Yeah.
Like, how excited was everyone when Threads came out?
It's actually called, this is a really good fact, it's called the hedonic treadmill. And it's, for example, buying a new phone. When you get a new phone, you put a screen protector on it, you put a case on it, you're scared of putting it in a zip pocket because you'll scratch it, you place it down nice and soft. You're on that hedonic treadmill. When it runs off, you'll throw your phone, slap it in your pocket, chuck it in the car, and it's the same when you buy a new car. You get a nice new smell, look after it. A week later, it's full of rubbish. I think the same applies. In fact, I know the same applies for social media and your content.
100%. Well, I mean, something that's like, who is probably the most famous person social media-wise on the planet right now?
Joe Rogan?
No, Hawk Tour.
Hawk Tour. Hawk Tour.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Of course, I've seen it.
But
Yeah, the
everyone-
guy's arguing about he's lost art now, hasn't he? Because he's not been able to monetize his content as well as he could.
Yeah.
Could.
Yeah.
I think people have taken it and using it, and they've made the money from it.
Oh
and
yeah,
he hasn't.
I've used it. You know,
He's sat back.
I've done a video. For
This is what I actually. You love this stuff, right? I really dislike it.
I don't love it.
You just have to do it.
I will.
This is the next podcast.
I will. You throw me peanuts and the monkey will dance sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I will do some like funny videos at times.
Yeah.
But I won't dance. That was a joke. I won't dance. I will never ever dance.
I will
on
actually
TikTok.
dance.
I will.
I
Never
can remember
dance
my
on
first TikTok with my mum doing that, like, well, you're just tapping heels all the time to a song, or like that.
They go mad
with the car thing. Yeah, that
go
was my
mad.
first few TikToks in lockdown.
What I was saying is,
Go.
she is so unbelievably famous right now because it's
Yeah.
funny. But now
Yeah.
they've found her.
Yeah.
But now she's like,
Working in a bar.
she's doing promos of stuff. She's selling her own merch.
Oh, it's
she's
crazy.
She's launching a podcast.
Yeah.
In a year, unless she re-diversifies as something else, everyone's bored of her.
Yeah.
6 months probably. They're bored of her.
Yeah.
You're just an internet meme.
What's that like? Oh, Charlie bit my finger.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like, look how old
Yeah.
he he
Yeah.
is now.
And you think, but like, so, because our attention spans are so short, you've got to utilise what's new with regards to like AI technology, but then not feel so far left behind by it
Yeah.
because it's ever moving. So, like,
Yeah.
for example, for example, the Hawk Tour girl,
Yeah.
if she thinks she can live off
Every
that,
time you say it.
if she thinks she can live off that for the next 6 months,
Yeah.
she's dreaming.
She's gonna do
because,
it, yeah.
because it will get. So she's got to
course.
have someone around her
course.
that says, right, but what's next?
But also in the background, once this has been posted, it's like actors that they still get paid for movies they
Yeah.
made 10 years ago because people are still watching them, still on Netflix, etc. I think if those videos are still on the internet, how many times have you had a conversation with a friend and just gone, oh, you see that video from like 12 years ago we used to watch, Charlie bit my finger?
Yeah.
You've gone into YouTube and searched it, or driving my mum's car, broom, broom, that one. Like, you typed it in to go and watch it again to relive a memory.
Yeah.
I think she'll be around because of this now.
She will, but not to the same levels, and that's what I mean. Is that
Yeah, she won't be able to make a full-time income, but TikTok might give her a few quid every now and again because
but
someone searched
what,
a video.
What I was associating it to was the AI, and sorry, was the pressure to be effectively relevant and on pace.
Yeah.
Like, she's relevant now. The latest AI trend that it can do is relevant now. If you feel like, oh, you know, I can do everything that AI can do, I've nailed it. Within 6 months, there'll be a whole new set of tools, and it's like.
Yeah, but this is what frustrates me between getting the balance right, because I want to create content that is deliverable to my business and to people that what they want. But then also to get the reach and the views, I need to create this other content like the Hot Tour and like, do I sit there thinking like Mr. Beast for ages going, how is somebody going to watch my content for so long? And do funny videos and interviews like that. And I've done it with people. We've gone through the streets of London and interviewed people for somebody's branding content. And we've done that and got some amazing funny hooks out of it. but it's not content that is deliverable to me because one, I just don't like it, and it's also you've got these two ways. Can you be like authentic, like we spoke about, or are you chasing money and views?
Yeah.
Because ultimately they go hand in hand.
But then I think then it depends on the platform you're on. Like,
Of course, because we've got a lot of small creators
Yeah.
with a few thousand followers that are making more than people with millions of followers.
Yeah.
Just because they know how to monetize the channels better and not through creator funds and etc. So I think there's multiple different revenues that go into staying ahead and continuing to learn and develop. Can you learn and develop more towards what you're doing right now? So how can I monetize my audience and what I'm doing rather than what's the new trend so I can get more views, then in turn more money. But
we do it.
No.
God, I've done it the once. I've done it. I sold my soul for that video.
You know this is going in the start of the clip video.
Yeah. So that's nearly an hour.
I think that's going to conclude the first one.
Yeah.
We was going to break this up. I think if we do that as the first one.
Yeah. And
do
then
a little
outro,
I guess.
But again, like, so these are just going to be like long form conversations with people. There's no limit to them. It is what it is.
No, it's going to flow.
But I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any comments, let us know. Any feedback. If anyone that you would like to see on the show.
On the podcast. We've actually got quite a few people lined up, and between us, we've managed to get. There's probably about 4 or 5 people now. We've got games and different things to play. It's going to be very exciting. We wanted to shake the rust off with this first one, kind of introduce ourselves and talk about the big thing of social media. I think we've covered some really good points on the podcast. But what's to come, for me, is a lot more exciting because what I'm looking at now and the plan of this podcast, and now it's out there, we'll release more of it over on our Instagram as well about what's coming up, and we'll obviously get the thumbnails out of there.
The .creative corner.
Official.
On Instagram.
Get following. It'll be all linked everywhere as well. And obviously links to mine and Sam's personal brands if you want to follow us as well. It would be very nice and would help us out.
Would appreciate it.
But anything else to add?
No, just thank you. If you made it this far, awesome, thank you. And
if you watched the whole thing, hats off. And if you have, let us know.
Yeah, thanks, Mum. And then, so thank you. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Sweet.